just seen Harding's car. We'll be in the drawing room.
Certainly, my lady.
Hello?
I believe we're expected.
Of course, Mr. and Mrs. Harding. Would you like to leave your coats?
Gwen? It is you, isn't it? Why didn't you telephone and say you were coming?
I didn't know we were until this morning, or I would have. He said we were visiting somebody called Painswick.
Lady Rosamond Painswick, his lordship's sister.
Oh, I've forgotten that. I'll see you later if I can.
She hasn't got time to greet her old friends, then.
When were you a friend of Gwen's?
We're so pleased to see you. I want to hear all about Hillcroft. Why did you first get involved?
Naturally, I'd be happy to take as much of the credit as possible, but it was really Mrs. Harding's idea.
What was it that drew you to the work they were doing?
Forgive me, but have we met?
Oh, I don't think we've met exactly. Tell us more about Hillcroft. Well, you see, I never had any higher education, and so...
Oh, who did? All we were taught was French, prejudice and dance steps.
But who's Gwen?
Well, she was a housemaid here before the war.
She got away to be a secretary. Now she's having lunch upstairs while we're still stuck down here.
What does his lordship think?
They won't recognise her. They don't look us in the face enough.
I wonder if Karl Marx might finish the liver pâté.
I don't think his lordship will mind. He's not uncomfortable about that sort of thing. It won't bother him that she used to work here.
No, well, his daughter ran off with the chauffeur in the interim.
Mrs. Harding was a supporter when Hillcroft first opened in 1920. Then later they needed a treasurer, so she suggested me.
And how do you manage from Yorkshire?
It's not hard. I go there twice a month. But the telephone's really changed everything.
I want to hear Mrs. Harding's story.
Well, it was the telephone that changed everything for me, too. You see, I was a secretary before I was married for a telephone company back when everyone was getting connected at the start of the war.
And she moved into local government, and that's where we met.
But if I'd had more education, I might have gone further, if that doesn't sound too vague.
No. Many women from all backgrounds feel that. I know I did. I was a nurse, but why couldn't I be a doctor?
Barrow, is that luncheon?
It is, my lady.
Shall we go in?
I hope we'll have a chance to continue this
Edith?
conversation shortly.
Yes,
When are you going
Look at you.
I don't mean to pretend. I didn't know we were coming to Downton until we turned into the drive.
Does he not know you worked here?
He knows I was a housemaid, so there's no pretence. But by the time we met, that was all in the past.
I'm one to talk. I married the boss's daughter.
So is she going to come down?
I don't know, she didn't say.
No, she's too important to speak to the likes of us. Take those up now.
We have to find ladders to help them achieve their potential.
I do so agree.
We can't afford to waste working women by not educating them.
It's lucky Carson isn't here.
Carson?
Our butler. He's a traditionalist.
You recall Mr. Carson, madam, surely?
What do you mean, Barrow?
Mrs. Harding used to work here.
What?
She used to be a...
Thank you, Mr. Barrow. I can tell it. But I used to be a housemaid here for a couple of years before the war.
Here? In this house?
I knew I'd seen your face.
Why didn't you say?
I don't know. Well, I was going to.
You had every opportunity.
Oh, you can take the pudding and Andy can carry the cream. How's it going?
Mr. Barrow just landed her in it.
Deliberately.
He only told the table she used to work here as a maid.
I knew he'd do something like that.
Of course. How could he resist? We've been hearing that you spoilt Gwen's luncheon. Good work.
I couldn't have known she was planning to lie her way through it.
That's not it, though, is it? You resent her luck. You're jealous.
Jealous. Why? Because I dedicated my life to service and I'm about to be thrown out on my ear when she scarpered first chance she got and now she's lunching in the dining room. Why would that make me jealous, Mr. Bates?
His lordship won't like it. You're trying to wrong-foot her.
Well, we'll see. I know Lady Mary didn't like being made a fool of. Now, in case I have to remind you all again, I am the butler. So please get on.
It seems marvellous to me. You leave service, go into government. Now you're married to a prominent man. 20th century story.
I agree. Welcome back. I just feel stupid for not recognizing you.
Why should you? We never spoke.
You worked here for 2 years and we never spoke to you. We're the ones in the wrong.
No, I didn't mean it like that. It was a good job.
But not good enough to stay.
I didn't want to be in service my whole life, that's all.
So you found an opportunity and took it. Brava.
But I didn't find it. Lady Sybil found it.
Sybil helped you.
Yes. But she did everything. She looked out for the jobs, lent me clothes, drove me to the interviews. But one time, I remember the horse went lame and we both got stuck in the mud and the talking we had to do when we got back.
I remember we were so worried, but she never said a thing about you.
It was our secret pact. And then one day she cornered the man who was installing the telephone here and that's how I got my first job in business.
She wouldn't let me into the library while you met him, so that was you.
Did you keep in contact?
Christmas cards and such. And then I heard the news. I'll never forget her. Her kindness changed my life.
What a lovely way to remember her.
She was a lovely person.
Darling Sybil. Thank you, Barrow, for reminding us of Mrs. Harding's time here.
My pleasure, my lady.